So this is just a sequence of self-massage techniques to help loosen up all those muscles that are commonly associated with getting tight or tense or under tensile strain with this neck forward, this head forward position. All this area through here that sort of tightens up with that. So first of all we're going to use a peanut just to work on mobilising the thoracic spine. So the peanut I'm just going to place about mid-back, just below the shoulder blades, and one ball goes either side of the spine, and then I'm going to lay down on that on the ground and just sort of mobilise that thoracic spine there. So I just start by getting my peanut, laying down on the back, knees are bent, just raised up the back and then lower back down. So I've started with it below my shoulder blades, really about right in the middle of my back there, and then just resting and relaxing on there, trying to really relax into this, sinking down onto the peanut. And just slight movements backwards and forwards, and do slight sideways movements. And then playing around, just taking the arms up overhead, all the way down by the side, doing this, arms straight up in front and just raising those shoulders off the ground, and then just trying that rotating through the shoulders. Once you feel like you've felt it soften up in that area, just reposition so it just moves slightly down, so that peanuts move slightly higher up my back, and then the same process. Little movements. If anywhere is really tender, just stopping and sitting on that movement for a minute or so till you feel it release. Otherwise just little movements, playing around with moving the arms. Once you feel that release, reposition again. And you might do that half a dozen times, all the way up. Moving all the way up through in between the shoulder blades until you're right up high on top of the shoulder blades. Not quite on the neck, but move right up to the base of the neck there. So after doing that, next I'm going to work on the levator scapula. So this is a muscle that starts that sort of top inside corner of the shoulder blade, runs all the way up through to the neck there. So I'm just going to take my triangle and placing it right on the muscle. So I'm not on the shoulder blade, I've come off the shoulder blade, but moving up in that angle that I was telling you about. Place it right on there, and then leaning up against that on the wall. Again, if this is super tender, just sit in one spot till you feel it release. Otherwise, gentle movements. You might just want to do a bit of sideways movement here till you feel that release, and then play around with moving the head as well. Just pinning that tissue down and then stretching it out by moving the head. Again, until you feel like you've made a change. Reposition. So I'm just moving that triangle further along the muscle and then going through the same thing. If I need to, I'll just sit on this spot for a while till I feel it release. Otherwise, gentle movements side to side, or just pinning it down and then stretching it out until I feel like I've made a change. And then reposition. And you might do that 3 or 4 times along that muscle, just through there. Next we're going to move up into this upper traps area. So for that I'm actually just going to use a door frame. Just going to place my trigger point just on the edge of the door frame, and then just bringing that upper traps right onto the trigger, right onto the triangle. And again, you feel like there's a lot of pressure here, or it's quite intense, then just sit on that spot till you feel the release. Otherwise, moving that head side to side, so I'm just pinning that tissue down and then stretching it out. And then I'd reposition, so I'm going all the way up across the upper traps. So again, just moving up a little bit higher here. Sitting on that if I need to, just until I feel it release. Moving that head from side to side. Can also just going across the fibres again. So here I'm just slight movements, moving my body up and down just to work across those fibres till I feel like I've made a change. I'll just show you what that's like with the other side. Positioning the triangle, coming straight onto it. Holding it if I need to. Pinning and stretching, holding that tissue down and then moving that head away, taking the ear away from the shoulder on that side. Or just moving up and down, working across the fibres, continuing until I feel like I've made it change there, till I feel like it's loosened up. Next we're just going to take a ball and work through the front of the chest. So often with this head forward, those shoulders have come forward and you're really closed up through the front there as well. So we're just going to open that up here. To open that up, I'm just placing that ball on top. Just trying to stay nice and relaxed while I do this one, keeping my breathing under control. And I'm just going to push that ball out to the side. So I'm not rolling, the ball's not rolling across my chest here. I'm actually trying to sink it in and then I'm dragging that whole tissue out towards my armpit. And just continue on with this again until you feel like you've made a difference in this area. Feel like you've loosened it up. So this isn't a fast movement, I'm really sinking in and then just dragging that tissue across, really trying to lengthen it all out. Okay, then we're going to work up through the front of the neck. I'm just going to use my ball again. All I'm doing, I'm placing the ball, this sort of big muscle that comes down from just below the ear, all the way to the top of the chest, the SCM. Just going to place that ball on that muscle. I'm not pushing in too deep, I'm just pushing in enough to get a bit of purchase on the tissue. And I'm going to twist it, just to take the slack out of that tissue, and then just stretching away from it. So it's just holding that twist, taking the slack out, and then stretching it out. And again, you just carry on with this until you feel like you've loosened up this area. Want to make sure you do both sides. And what you might find when you first start doing this, because you're quite tight, you've been holding this head forward position for a long time, it'll actually take a fair while to get through here. You might spend 5 minutes on each spot. It's going to be quite a long routine just to get through, just to help that all loosen up, allow that head to come back.